Now that the dust has settled on the Tag der Toten ending, it feels like zombies in general has come to an end on YouTube. Not in today's video, as in this video, I'm going to prove to you that whilst Ultimus and Primus are definitely not alive anymore, Victis might well be. Or if this is going to go down the route of a 5th DLC, or if it's going to be something they're going to wait for until the next game, I have no clue. A DLC 5 would be amazing in my opinion, as it would be a lovely bridge between now and the next Treyarch game next year. So whilst I don't know exactly how Treyarch will implement a future storyline with Victis, the evidence is pretty damn concrete. So be sure to watch the entire video before formulating a final opinion, but whilst you're watching, I'd love to know your thoughts on the ending in the comments now that we've had a little bit of time to really think about it. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to support it and more storyline videos, then make sure to drop a like too. Let's dive into the key distinct differences between Primus and Ultimus and Victis when it comes to their fate in the ending. As we see in this shot right here, Victis are left fighting for their lives at Tag der Toten with never-ending zombies swarming them. Samuel can't work out why they're not being saved by Richthofen, as they've gone and completed what he wanted them to, which was to build the Agarthen device. Richthofen apologizes before Victis are seemingly wiped out of existence along with everything else to the dark ether. Someone who was a fan of Victis and happy to see them return, and then within one map completely wiped out of existence, made me angry, because this crew deserved better than that. And the whole point of this video is to prove that they are. Back when the game first came out and we got classified as a downloadable bonus, there were a lot of intriguing things on that map, even some story elements which still haven't seen the light of day even in DLC 4, such as Primus will fail, Ultimus will prevail. That's a whole different can of worms for a different video, but there is a specific telephone Easter egg where you can hear Stuhlinger trying to get hold of Richthofen. Now for context, as we know in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, Victis escaped the ending of Buried to track down the Chronorium for Primus Richthofen before frozen in cryostasis in his lab in Blood of the Dead. And then they're awoken in Blood of the Dead to teleport to Tag der Toten to retrieve the Agarthen device. There is nothing that happens in between these journeys. They are just fully frozen until the finale. This telephone radio from Stuhlinger in Classified takes place in an entirely new scenario that they never took place in Black Ops 4. This is a perfect way to introduce a DLC 5 or the next Black Ops story if it was involving Victis. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up this audio straight after the ending with Victis, and you can see just how perfectly it correlates with context and sense.
Has something gone wrong? We did everything you asked! You haven't forgotten about us, have you?
No, Sammy. I haven't forgotten about you.
What are you talking about? We found the Agarthen device!
I know. And I'm so sorry.
Is this thing on? Richthofen! Hey, Richthofen! You've been gone from my head a really long time! I gotta be honest, I'm freaking out a bit, man. It's so quiet. I can actually hear myself think. Do you know what that's like? It's not nice at all. So, listen, buddy, old pal, we gotta talk. You sent us here, of all places, but you forgot to tell us what to do. It's dark, it's damp, it's just really filthy. I think the roaches are crawling with roaches. How is that even possible? Wait, shoot. Am I even talking to the right Richthofen? Oh, you could be the other one, right? Or the other one. Yeah, you know what? Just go talk to your Richthofen pals at the hoity-toity Ricky Gang Clubhouse and find out what the we're supposed to be doing!
So now you've listened to that, can you tell me one situation the Victis crew were in Black Ops 4 which sounded like that? That's right, there hasn't been. And this is where I think Treyarch have been incredibly clever with this. This radio is in Classified, a map that came out a year ago. And back then, we thought that this original radio was gonna make sense by the end of the DLC season, and it just straight up hasn't. This could be Treyarch's incredibly amazing cryptic way of teasing what happens next for Victis before it even happened. There has never been a situation in Black Ops 4 with our Victis characters between them being in stasis, coming out of it and going to Tag, Targ that involves them being in a really quiet, dark place where Stuhlinger can't get hold of Richthofen. This is literally the perfect scenario for the post-Targ ending. Richthofen doesn't exist anymore, and from what we've seen in the end cutscene, the Dark Aether is just represented by just nothingness, just black. And this could very well be Stuhlinger describing what the atmosphere is like of the Dark Aether. If we also look in the Alpha Omega intro cutscene, there are multiple shots which we never saw the light of day, and one of these involves both Stuhlinger and Misty looking very concerned, like almost scared, and this is outcomes we never actually see within the ending or in any other cutscenes. This could also be a glimpse of what they could be experiencing with their trip to the Dark Aether. Now, by all means, I don't expect TREYARCH to continue on a storyline with a trapped crew in a dimension which is entirely evil and beneath creation, but I can see at least a sliver of hope with these characters that we will get to experience a few more things with them, and this radio pretty much confirms that's going to be the case. Now, like I said at the start of the video, I don't know how exactly TREYARCH could execute something like this. There has been a ton of rumor and speculation for literally over 6 months now of a Transit, Die Rise and Buried remake or remaster coming to Black Ops 4. We've yet to see it, but the store has an extra slot for another DLC pack, and I would honestly love to see that. And if that was going to happen, then having the set in the Dark Aether could actually be a very exciting prospect. Because looking at it, the storyline is now fully wrapped up. There isn't anything more to say, but that doesn't mean that the Victis characters still can't exist past the ending, and we can experience a few more adventures with them before they are ultimately killed off for good. But if I'm mistaken, there isn't anything technically wrong in the storyline for them to still exist past the ending. The Aether is intrinsically linked to Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Richthofen. That's why they all had to die the way they did. They were essentially the string that held the Aether together. But Victis are very different in that sense. And it would be nice if seeing these characters again, there was actually a way for them to leave the Dark Aether and live normal lives within the normal reality that Eddie and Samantha are now able to grow up in. Because the Victis characters, Misty, Stuhlinger, Martin, and Russman, they've all seemingly had normal lives, and we get to hear more about their backstories in Targ de Tota than we've ever heard before. Aside from Russman anyway, the other three have had pretty normal lives thrust into this apocalyptic-like scenario. Wouldn't it be really nice to just finally end their story arc for good instead of just wiping them from existence like they never happened? That'd be really cool. Now, I've also seen some suggestions from people that perhaps in Black Ops 5 or whatever the next game is, stuff that was purged to the Dark Aether might creep out and back into normal world. And whilst I could probably maybe agree with that, I also think that would complicate this story that supposedly ended even more so, because then it wouldn't have ended, would it? It's a nice idea, but I think it just overcomplicates something which was complicated enough that it had to be ended to start something brand new. But what do you guys think from this? Because I definitely think Victis still have story left that has not been explained thanks to this radio, but just how TREYARCH could go about it is very intriguing. Like I said, all the rumors of a DLC 5, if that was to happen, then perhaps we could get like a hellish, nightmarish reiteration of Transit, Die Rise and Buried, so they would be completely different from the originals and not straight remasters. I think that would be really cool, but could also take away the whole sort of excitement about a remaster completely by it not really being a remaster and being entirely different from the original content material. Like, imagine Transit remade and it's just nowhere near as good as the original. I think that would be a really big disappointment, but I mean, this is TREYARCH here. I doubt that would even be possible considering how bad Transit is anyway. Hopefully, if you're still watching, you agree with me here that this radio is weird and it just seems very unlike TREYARCH to wipe out a crew entirely after bringing them back for one final map. It felt weird in general having them as the final characters we play as in the finale of Aether, and to then suddenly just wipe them out of existence like that just seems very peculiar, just a bit of a sour, bitter end, I guess. With this radio, I definitely think there is more to Victis than what we probably assume. But if it's going to be a 5th DLC pack reimagining some of the maps that we've not yet had remastered before, or if that's going to be left for the next Black Ops game, who knows? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and feedback on what you'd prefer to see happen. Let me know if you even like the Victis characters, and if you have any other ideas about the context of this radio from Stuhlinger on Classified, let me know. But thank you for watching, feel free to leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.